and welcome to the GTHL Breakout Podcast. We're super excited to be joined by Brandon Nolan, a retired professional hockey player and one of the co-founders of the Three Nolans. So thanks so much for joining us today, Brandon.
Thanks for having me today.
So before we get started, what are you up to these days?
Oh, geez, it could be a long answer, but for us at Three Nolans, we're just we kind of got back into communities around March, just doing our hockey school programs all across Canada, attending many charity events or other events where we, yesterday we're at up in a community for National Indigenous Peoples Day. So we did like a little stick handling workshop. We did community speeches for some motivation, inspiration. So a little bit everything for Three Nolans. And outside of that, just I have 3 kids of my own, so getting them around to baseball or summer sports and whatnot. But it's going to be a fun summer, and we're really looking forward to it.
Definitely keeping busy, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. It's both my boys play baseball, so we're at the baseball field probably 5 or 6 days a week, which is it's fun. I love watching baseball, and it's good to take them around town to all these games.
Well, it kind of goes back to your playing career, or playing days, we should say. So we'll talk a little bit about your playing career first. And you went on to play Major Junior with the Oshawa Generals for 3 seasons. You were a 2-time OHL All-Star, top scorer for the Generals during your time there. You went on to be drafted by the New Jersey Devils in the 3rd round in 2001, and then again in the 4th round by the Vancouver Canucks in 2003. So you eventually made your NHL debut in 2007 with the Hurricanes. So let's talk a little bit about your journey to your first NHL game. Is your perspective on your path there a little bit different now that you look back with some more experience in life?
Yeah, just looking back, I mean, you're just going through it, right? You play minor hockey, and then you hope to be drafted to a major junior team, and then if not, you just continue to develop and go to university or college. But for me, I played, like you said, I played junior hockey with the Oshawa Generals, had three really fun years, met some awesome people, started to play decently good hockey towards the end of my career in Oshawa. And then, like you said, got drafted 2 times. But I mean, just looking back, it felt like it went so fast and it was so fun. But if you really look back and what you go through, like it's such a grind. It's extremely hard. It's so hard just to be drafted and then just to go to pro hockey and then to go through the grind of pro hockey. Like looking back, you don't think of it at the time, but I just, I guess I would just be proud of myself just for the resilience you had to show. And just, like I said, it's not easy. Playing hockey is hard enough. And then when you add the mental aspect and the physical grind and the games on 3 nights in a row and just all the stuff that's combined. I mean, if you really look back at it and go over the totality of your hockey career, it is pretty crazy what you go through. But like I said, at that same time and looking back, I mean, it's just so much fun, and the grind of hockey and the hard work it takes is what really I enjoyed throughout the process.
Well, and did having your dad, obviously the career that he's had in the game, help you get through those challenges throughout your playing days?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the experience that he was able to share with myself and my younger brother, Jordan, sometimes you get down on yourself as a player, and just like having him being the coach, he really didn't coach us too much, but he was just more there as a parent. But the experience definitely helped. I was spoiled in the aspect of I got to hang around at junior dressing room when I was, he was with the Greyhounds in the early 90s. So I would have been like 7, 8 years old, just at the practices, at the games, at the Memorial Cup championship runs. So when I look back, I was like definitely spoiled in the fact of getting a chance to go to a lot of junior hockey games. So, I mean, his experience definitely helped, and just seeing how junior hockey was at a young age, just wanted myself just to make it so much more. And, for me, like those junior hockey players, those guys were they were pro to me. So I always looked up to them as a young boy, and just to get a chance to play junior hockey myself was pretty special.
And you touched on a really important note there, in that your dad was there as a parent and not so much a coach. So for today's parents and families and players in the game, how important do you think it is for parents to play the role of parent and let everyone else do the role that they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, sports has gotten so serious the past number of years with the, the additional training. Kids play hockey all year round now. Like, man, I loved hockey, and I loved playing throughout the winter, but I just cannot see. I couldn't look back and see myself playing 12 months a year now. But I mean, there's so many good coaches. I mean, just for any sport, for parents, like just with my kids, just to support them and make sure, that for one, they're having fun. I mean, it's easy to say. Every parent says they want their kids to have fun, but if you really look back and just like make sure your kids are having fun and support them. I heard someone say it a couple of weeks ago on a podcast. As parents, we just want to, like, for hockey, we just want to have our kids have an awesome experience. Let them have as much fun as they can until age 14, 15. And then from there, they're going to decide for themselves if they want to try and make a career of it or try and make junior hockey. Because, that's kind of the age 14, 15 where you really turn that dial up, and, nutrition comes into play, physical fitness comes into play. And they're going to decide at that time if they want to pursue that or not. But up until that point, like, let's make these kids have fun and then really enjoy the experience. Because, I mean, for the most part, most are going to be done at the age of 16 and 17. So when they're starting playing hockey at 8, 9, 10 years old, they only have 6 or 7 years to play hockey with their friends. Like, so for me, for my kids and other people that I get the chance to talk to, it's really just like enjoy the experience. I mean, minor hockey, you have such great coaches and you have such amazing tournaments that you can attend, but they're going to remember the swimming pool at the tournament, or they're going to remember their buddies sleeping over on Friday, Saturday nights before a game. So for us, I mean, we're just really focused on fun and enjoy the game, and obviously work hard, but fun is number one.
Absolutely. And it's so true when you say, like, even when you talk to any NHL or pro player now and you ask them what their favorite memories are from the game, it's always the tournaments, it's always mini sticks, it's always the road trips with their friends when they were 12, 13. So that story never changes, but somehow you still need those reminders.
Oh, for sure.
So, and on that, like, from your playing days, what stands out to you as your most memorable?
Like, for playing my whole life, or I mean, memories. For me, probably 2 or 3 memories. I mean, in the outdoor rink that my father built, and we grew up in Garden River First Nation before we decided to start moving around with his coaching career. But just the outdoor rink for me was the place that I remember the most. Just being out there at all hours of the day. If my parents would let me stay up late at night, I'd be out there at nighttime. So just the outdoor rink for me was where really I fell in love with the game. Got to work on my skills, no organized drills. I got to kind of do what I wanted to. So for me, that was amazing. Junior hockey was just another amazing experience. My time in Oshawa, just having amazing coaches, and George Burnett, Mike Fuda, meeting some of my good friends at the time. They're still friends now. Junior hockey was just such an amazing experience. And then pro hockey, I mean, played in many different, a little bit in the NHL, AHL, a little bit in Sweden. But honestly, like, probably the most fun I had was in the East Coast Hockey League. Just like, it was really good hockey. We had a good location to play and live in, right by a college university. You got to go to really cool cities, and so for me, like, the East Coast Hockey League was probably like one of the most fun experience in pro hockey. And then obviously, like, just a little bit in the NHL, which I had a short stint, but I'll never forget my time with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Hey, that's an accomplishment that few get to. So absolutely something to be mentioned and proud of. When you did get the call to play your first NHL game, what were those feelings or thoughts when you got that phone call?
Honestly, just like really emotional. It's just like, I probably just cried a little bit when my coach, Tom Rowe, called me, just because of the grind that you go through. I mean, I dreamt of playing the NHL when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And then to go through that process of minor hockey, junior hockey, pro hockey, maybe thinking I wasn't good enough. That's where I went to Sweden and tried there. And then I came back and I said, let's maybe give it one more shot. And then finding a coach like Tom Rowe that believed in me with the Albany River Rats, and then the Carolina Hurricanes giving me a chance and and getting that call from my American League coach, like I said, Tom Rowe at the time, just really emotional, just, calling, just sitting in my apartment by myself, getting ready for the game the next day, and getting a call saying you're going to go up and play in the NHL for the Carolina Hurricanes against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And, just calling my parents, my brother, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife. It was just like, it was crazy. Like, just looking back and getting the call that, like, you're going up to play in the NHL, it's just like, yeah, you almost black out because everything happened so fast. And then you're there, you're in Tampa Bay, you're playing your first game, and everything, like, it's just happening so fast. But it was just like, I'll never forget that call that night. That next night playing the actual game, and it would, like, I'll never forget those 2 days.
Well, certainly something to be proud of. Like we mentioned, it's something that very few people that play the game accomplish. But shortly after, probably safe to assume the low point of your career happened. You suffered a fairly serious concussion, I believe in February of 2008. And then it was an injury that eventually forced you to retire. So how difficult of a process was that for you?
Yeah, that was probably one of the most difficult times in my life. Just, alone, set aside from, like, the physical symptoms and, the emotional symptoms and the mental aspect of what I had to go through of just everything that came along with the concussion, the post-concussion syndrome. That was, like, a really, really tough 2 years. And then you add in, like, just playing your first NHL game on December, I believe it was 2006. And then February 2007, two short months later, I suffered this concussion, which ended my career and allowed me to never play the game of hockey again. So from going to such a high 2 months earlier to such a low, then, like I said, dealing with all those symptoms for 2 years. It was, like, really tough, just not knowing what I was going to do, not knowing, like I said, what I was going to do with the next chapter of my life. I was only 25 years old at the time, and kind of put all my eggs into one basket, which, looking back, probably wasn't the smartest thing, but just wanting to play pro hockey and then kind of figuring out what I was going to do. But yeah, it was a tough 2 years. And then just kind of coming out of that and getting over the fact of feeling sorry for myself, and, no one's going to hand me anything. So I just got to, like I did with hockey, I just got to get back to work and try and figure something out. So I made one of the best decisions of my life. I went back to school and I got educated, and I had a chance to get some really cool jobs because of that education. And everywhere we go now and speak, my brother just retired. He's a 3-time Stanley Cup winner. My father, when he had retired at the age of 26, and then myself, when I retired, we all went back to school. And we always talk about the importance of education. And, for me, it took me 27 years to figure out and realize how important education was. But when I finally did and took that leap and went back to school, like I said, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Well, I want to just quickly go back to the concussion aspect of your life, because it is something that the game is making progress on, and sports in general is making progress on. But even with that progress, is there something you wish people knew or realized more about concussions and head injuries while playing, even not just hockey, but any sport?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, when they happen, make sure you're fully healed, and make sure you take that time to rest and get properly healed. For me, it was my third concussion in, like, 3 or 4 years, which, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but there's other players that have dealt with much more and much worse. I mean, you never really know how you're going to react to a concussion. That's the thing, right? Like, it could be your first and it could end your career. It could be your 10th and it could end your career. But we've definitely been getting better with shots to the head in respect to the game of hockey. More disciplines being handed out when those do happen. But I always get asked sometimes if I change anything, but I don't know. Like, hockey is it's a physical sport, and that's the way it should be played. And maybe I could have played less physical, or maybe I could have done something, but physicality was a little bit part of my game and part of a lot of people's games. So I guess when you play hockey or you play a physical sport, I mean, that's the risk you take. I mean, I knew there's a chance that I could get hurt. The funny thing is, like I said, I knew there's a chance that I could get hurt, and I knew there's a chance that I could break my leg, suffer a career-ending concussion, tear my shoulder, tear my knee. You always know there's that risk. But for me, like you didn't know that you would go through such a tough time with concussion and how long it takes. Like even today, this is turning 39 this summer. I retired at the age of 25. I still can't work out. Like I'm doing really well. Nothing really affects me with the concussion outside of like I can't go for runs. I can't lift weights. I can't physically exert myself to absolute exhaustion. And then because I would deal with those consequences about 2 weeks later, and just dizziness. And so concussions are so serious. I mean, like I said, just if you ever suffer one, just make sure you're fully healed and seek the right the right doctors or experts in that field, and just make sure that you're fully healed before you come back and play, because you could deal with it for a long time.
Well, in terms of being in suffering one, how important is it to be honest about any symptoms you might be feeling instead of trying to
I know it's so tough. I mean, you do. I mean, you gotta have the right people around you, right? Like your parents or coaches or management, people that really want to make sure that you're fully healed before you come back. But I'm not gonna lie, like it is tough. My second concussion, I probably came back too early. Because with pro hockey, you just want to get back, and you want to get back to that point to where you were. And, for me, I was, when it happened, I was just in the NHL, and then I got sent down to the AHL, and then the concussion happened. And I just wanted to get back because I wanted to get back up to the NHL. I want to progress my career. And, but looking back, like you need to be really careful, and because, like I said, you never know how long you're going to deal with it. So, luckily for me, I was able to see some good doctors, and I was able to get support from Carolina Hurricanes, the Alberta River Rats at the time. And, just seeing those doctors and kind of saying that, maybe it's just time to retire and to focus on other things in your life and make sure your health is properly. So now I'm able to play with my kids and to do all that kind of stuff. So, others aren't so lucky. And, there's a lot of people that suffer head injuries that deal with it much worse than myself. So like I said, you just need to make sure that you're fully healed and take that time to heal.
Well, and then moving on to your post playing days career, we touched on your education. So what was the motivation, or was there a light bulb moment that you kind of woke up one day and said, what, I want to go back to school and get the next chapter started?
Really, it was just not even be able to find a job, to be honest with you. Like I couldn't find a job without some sort of education. So, there is careers where you don't need college or university education, which is totally fine and cool if that's what you want to do with your life. But for me, I wanted something more. I wanted to experience college. I wanted to get educated in a field that I was interested in, which was business. So, I wanted to take that leap and to give myself a chance to get educated. I had my first child at the time, and, maybe looking back, just kind of feel like, he's going to look back and, he's going to see his mom went to university. He's going to maybe see his dad went to college. And I just absolutely loved my time in college. Once I went, I was like a little bit nervous at the time. I was 27 years old. Everyone else in the class was 18, 19 years old. And a little bit nervous. Like I didn't go to school past the age of 18 because I turned pro at age 19. So going back to school at age 27 and learning how to study again and how to read and how to take notes. Like the first couple of months, I was just like, everything was right over my head. Like I couldn't, it was really hard. And then I just kind of like said, you know what, I was successful at hockey because I worked hard. So I could be successful at school if I work hard. So I just worked really hard, just studied more, read more, took it very seriously. And then, the time went by and I was able to graduate and, like I said, get some really cool jobs, and it kind of led us to what we're doing here today.
Well, and I believe you graduated top of your program, if I think I'm correct. So that's a huge accomplishment for making that transition. But on that, how important do you think it is for athletes? You've mentioned it a couple of times where you kind of put all your eggs in one basket, which you're certainly not alone. A lot of athletes do it. It's very blinders are on, focus on the career. But how important is it for players now and at any point to really bring along their education to set up that post-playing career, a stage in their life?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's like, it's easy to say to to make sure you're focusing on other things, but it's really hard, like, because I mean, it's pro hockey is extremely tough. It's not a season job. It's a full year-round job. I mean, just with the health aspect, the mental side of the game, the physical aspect of training, but everyone just needs to realize, outside of Austin Matthews and John Tavares and Connor McDavid, like the guys that are making massive amounts of money, honestly, even them, they're gonna need to do something when their careers are over. So outside of those guys, like third, fourth liners, or guys that are battling in the minors, or guys that are battling the East Coast League, like, you can still have that dream, but maybe we can do something, offer programs to these players, or offer summer educational courses, and I don't know, real estate, business, firefighting, police officers. There's so many things that hockey players can fall into, because we're just, we're really dedicated, we're hardworking, we're great team players. Well, most of us, you always play, you always remember those guys that are great team players. And if you can fall into a career where you're a good team player, there's many organizations, business organizations, many different fields that just love that aspects of what hockey players learn over their careers. So, if you can just think about that next chapter, next career in your life, before that retirement comes, or before that, maybe that injury comes, you'll be set up better in life. But like I said, it is tough. I mean, it is really tough to focus on other things, but there's so many careers and jobs that I think hockey players can be great at, and it's just thinking about that and taking that leap, maybe sooner than later.
Well, as you said, hockey certainly sets you up with a lot of life skills for after the fact. It's just a matter, I guess, of applying it. But I do want to talk about a culture in a different sense. Well, we recently celebrated National Indigenous Peoples Day. You are a proud Ojibwe from the Garden River First Nation in Northern Ontario. So with that, what is something you wish more people knew about Indigenous people or the culture, whether it's in the game or in sports or beyond?
Really, I mean, just not even just Indigenous culture, just everyone's culture. I mean, you just need to respect everyone's from different backgrounds. Like, Canada's such a multicultural place. I mean, we have so many different backgrounds, cultural people. You just need to really be respectful. I mean, I think the game of hockey has certainly taken a little bit of a step to get better, but there's still a lot more room for growth and a lot more room for understanding. And the game of hockey needs to be a safe place for everyone. We see racist incidents still happening to this day, which is absolutely just, really, honestly, it doesn't surprise me, but it still blows my mind to see like racist incidents happen in the game of minor hockey. And pro hockey aside, I mean, but just like minor hockey with kids, I'm just like, I'm blown away that this still happens to this day. I mean, many people have talked about it back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now we're in 2022 and we're still talking about it. So I think we're finally starting to maybe take a little bit of a step, but a lot more work needs to be done and a lot more education needs to happen. But with Indigenous culture, like I said, just, if you don't know maybe a lot about our people or our culture, maybe just finding those educational tools to become more educated in our background, or with National Indigenous Peoples Month and National Indigenous Peoples Day yesterday, it was just a really, it was just, like I said, I was at an event. It was just a proud time to be there and to celebrate our people and our culture and to what we have provided to all of Canada. So yeah, like if people can just maybe learn more or ask questions, attend a powwow or go somewhere or follow, support Indigenous business, support Indigenous causes. That thing goes a long way. And if we can teach our kids at a younger age to be more respectful of different backgrounds and culture, I think the future can be, a better place. Absolutely.
And there's obviously a lot of work that you, your brother, and your dad are doing with 3 Nolans. So we'll jump into that. Like we've mentioned, you co-founded the organization. But for those who don't know, what is 3 Nolans and what do you all work towards?
Basically, like in a nutshell, we really just try to inspire Indigenous youth trying to, really just to try and inspire and motivate them, let them know that they can do great things in life. And really we do that through our Three Nolans First Nation Hockey School. We go to many different Indigenous communities all across Canada, some close to cities, some very far travel days, some, 5-stop puddle jumble planes to a community, or winter ice roads in the winter months. Really, we just go to as many locations as we can, try to inspire the youth, try to motivate them. Yes, through the game of hockey, like it's a hockey school, we try and develop their skills. But we also just try and teach them other things like proper nutrition and how to be good citizens in their community, how to give back to their community, how to be leaders. Like I said, how to give back. My parents, my father, my mother, taught my brother and I at a young age to give back where we can. And we're really just trying to pass on that message through the game of hockey. But like I said, like hockey is an amazing game, and it's such a wonderful sport, but there's so much more that you learn from the game of hockey, and there's so many more important things than life. Like I said, like just being a good person and helping out where you can. So with our hockey schools, that's what we're trying to do. Just trying to teach as many Indigenous youth and non-Indigenous youth as we can. We've seen over 3,000 kids now come through our program, which we're extremely proud of. We don't take that lightly. And then, just getting out there with other opportunities, whether it's through our apparel clothing line called 3N. We make hats, hoodies, t-shirts. Part of the proceeds come back to our hockey school program. And then, like I said, with the event that we attended yesterday with National Indigenous Peoples Day, we attend events like that, or we attend graduations, many different conferences, just trying to spread that message of what we spread at our hockey school. So that's kind of what Three Nolans are up to these days. And, we started small back in 2013. And like I said, just really proud of the growth that we've had over the past almost 10 years now. So just always trying to expand, always trying to make our program better. Always trying to find really good partners to work with, just trying to make our hockey school as good as it can. So, it takes a lot with travel or giveaway prizes or jerseys that we offer to each and every one of our hockey schools. So like I said, just looking forward to growing and looking forward to get better and just getting out to many more communities as we can.
And I'm curious, is this something that you and your family wanted to do for a long time, or did it kind of just happen one day where the idea came into the picture and you went for it?
Yeah, so my father did these hockey schools. He called it the Anishinaabe Hockey School. He did them in remote communities, in Indigenous communities all across Canada when he was younger. And then I was actually able to attend some outside of Calgary, I think in Massachusetts or maybe Morley, Alberta. I forget the exact location, but so I was able to attend a hockey school, and I don't forget like going to hockey school and being around all other Indigenous kids and Indigenous youth, and just being proud to be there, proud to people that look like me, and to be in a hockey school setting like that, because it is rare. I mean, there's not many all Indigenous hockey school programs. So for me, like having that experience as a kid and then always remembering that experience, and then just talking after graduating from college, and then with my father, my brother, just kind of figuring out ways how we can give back to our youth, and just saying like, let's create the hockey school. Let's get to as many communities as we can. We started out small in 2013, only going to 2 or 3 locations a year, and now we have a hockey school in July. We have I believe 4 hockey schools in August. We have some scheduled in September, October, November. So we do anywhere from 8 to 15 hockey schools a year now. And like I said before, just really proud of that work. And it all kind of really stemmed from the work that my father did in the past, and kind of talking with my brother and Father Ted, and just kind of saying, let's bring a hockey school program back. And with us, Three Nolans, just calling it Three Nolans First Nation Hockey School. So like I said, just there's just something about getting into our communities and working with our youth. And like I said, we're so proud of that, and just can't wait to get out there more.
Well, the growth is definitely amazing. But in terms of reaching for the stars and continuing to grow, how can people help or get involved if they are interested? I know you mentioned the merchandise, but any other ways that people can help out? Yeah,
I'm really accessible through our website, 3nolans.com. we're on Facebook, Instagram, all that social media stuff. So anything that goes, DMs or private messages or messages through our website come directly to my phone. So anyone looking to help, whether it's time or financially, we're always looking for great partners. We always need support. Whether it's, like I said, in terms of time or money, we're always looking for good partners to partner with. So please reach out if you're looking for any additional information on the programs we offer or what we're doing out in the communities. So like the best way would just be one of those 3 avenues to contact us.
Well, and we know you have a jam-packed summer and everything that's ahead, and we'll certainly be following along. We are super proud to have the relationship with the 3 Nolans that we do. And any way that the GTHL community can help out the 3 Nolans, we're certainly all for it. But I've just enjoyed the conversation. You're great to have on. We really appreciate your time today, Brandon. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. I mean, it's just always nice to talk to good people, talk to good organizations, and to just spread the message that we're trying to convey. So, like I said, thanks for reaching out, and it's been fun here today.
And to all those listening, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the GTHL Breakout Podcast. We're super excited to bring you this off-ice story of Brandon Nolan, as well as many more to come on the podcast ahead.